I was working at Concur for the small business team, and the small business marketing team, I think we were 10 to 12 people. I had 2 people underneath me, and I reported to the lead of demand gen. We launched a vertical marketing campaign, which is now a must-have. We hired an agency to do all the audience research on all the different verticals. And we made this huge playbook that was neat, special, and online. You could sort through it and see if I want to talk about expense management to this type of company, what sort of language do I use? We had all this information. We made nurture campaigns to help the different verticals. And we had lofty goals of doing 5 verticals. We ended up doing 1 to 2 a quarter because it took so much work.
Yeah.
We made these nurture campaigns, and our MQLs, our marketing qualified leads, shot through the roof, like 200 times above goal.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But our sales qualified leads barely tipped the needle. And I was like, what's going on here? So we took a step back and we went and interviewed all the sales team. I sat on calls with them. I looked at our win-loss reports. And it turned out that not only had they not been using our huge fancy playbook,
Wow.
but the huge fancy playbook was too fancy and too huge for them to use. If they knew about it, they would log in and be like, nah, I can't deal with this. I'll just use my normal thing. We had to skim down all that work. And what's funny is if we had known that from the beginning, that was probably in the 6-7 figures that we spent on that project. We would have saved so much money. We ended up making a spreadsheet, and then they could follow that. Once we did that and then ran sales trainings, then the SQL started to match the MQLs. When I joined, the team was very much a shared service. So we were very much ticket takers. We had the thought leadership blog would come to us and say, hey, write this. Or we would have the demand gen team come to us and say, write that. Or the event team come and say, I need help with this. And it didn't give us much ownership. I switched the team around. And at the same time, we had a leader of demand gen join. And Brooke and I sat down and were like, how do we make this better? We now have pods where the pod structure has a demand gen leader, a content leader, people from PMMs, and people from customer advocacy. Those teams operate like little tiny marketing teams. It was our launch blog for this product launch. It had over 20 VP and above reviewers. Content by committee, worst nightmare. And I launched it. Everybody was happy. We negotiated to get where we needed to be. My boss, who was the SVP of PMMs, he came to me after the first week and he's like, how's the blog doing? And I was like, it sucks. I'm not proud of it. We had to make it agreeable to everybody, which means it was watered down. And he's like, can you pull up the data? And I pulled up the data and he was like, oh, it does suck. And he's like, change it. And I was like, actually, I want to wait. We waited 30 days. When it died down. And in the back end, we changed it and went back to draft 2 out of 20. Within the first day of the new blog being launched, it quadrupled the amount of views that we had as a benchmark. When I told him that, he was like, what did you change? I was like, I took everybody's feedback out. I wrote it based on what our writer needed it to say and addressing what our brief said and adding in some more emotional interest that had been stripped out by other people. And then we used it as a case study on why not to have content by committee.